me. All right. So I guess we're going to go ahead and get started. So last week we started talking about marble jar moments and those things that help us build trust. And so I'm not going in order. So big disclosure there, not going in order. But one of the 7 things that she talks about that I've been thinking about this week, probably because I've been taking regulations type tests, is integrity. That's one of the 7 components that help us build trust with ourselves and help us build trust with others. And basically, the way that she talks about it is there are 3 steps, but it basically means I can trust you if I know that you act from a place of integrity and you encourage me to do the same. So it's not just that, we can trust this person because they're always doing what's right, but then they're like, okay, Jessica, you don't have to do this. It's more like when we have those moments when we're in doubt or when it could be easy to not do the right thing, it's someone who says, oh, nope, I'm holding you to this higher standard. I'm keeping you whole, because another word for integrity is a sense of wholeness, cohesion. That person helps us stay in cohesion. So basically, there are 3 things that she says that you could do. The first one is that you choose what's right over what's fast, fun, or easy. The second one is that you choose courage over comfort, because sometimes it's not so easy to choose what's right over what's fast, fun, and easy, especially like when there are things that you actually want to do, like your son, Laura, for instance, he might have wanted to go out and ski with his buddies. And so him having to stay home and quarantine or not expose other people was not fast, not fun, nor easy, but it did take courage for him to make that choice. And then the third thing, of course, has to do with actually living our values versus professing them. And it seems like that's the nitty gritty one. I think so many of us can easily be like, yeah, I do what's right. I stay in integrity. I don't lie. I don't cheat. I don't steal. But then, when you look at it from a yogic perspective, there's so many different things that we can do on a micro level that take away from us, like when we overexert ourselves, when we don't take time to actually honor our unique needs, our own boundaries, our own limitations. So today, what we're going to do is we're just going to work on the thing that I think, coming back to Erica's joke of the day, what's at the basis, what makes up everything, and that's our breath. Our breath is our atom. It's the matter that makes up everything. And so as we move through our practice today, I encourage you to take the time to check in, to either push yourself a little further or back off just a little bit, staying in integrity, in alignment with your breath. So today we're going to start in child's pose. And I'd like you to come to the child's pose that's comfortable for you. Steve, if child's pose is not working for you, no worries. You can also start in Nakrasana, belly down, back bend. We're just trying to feel our abdomen pressing against our thighs. And for these first few breaths that we're here, you might have your knees together and just allow the chest to rest on the thighs. If that feels like that's just too much, you can widen the knees a bit, and then you might extend the arms back alongside your hips, or you might reach the arms forward. But we're going to just take the first 4 breath cycles here to return to our initial state of wholeness, when we first started off as happy little embryos, completely content with who we are, where we are. And as you're here for these next 2 to 3 breath cycles, I'd like you to take an audible exhalation through the mouth and a big, deep inhalation through the nose. Nice work. All right. Let's go ahead and find our Ujjayi Pranayama. So start to tone the back of your throat, constricting it lightly. And then as you're ready, if the arms are back behind you, sweep them forward. And then let's go ahead and inhale and come to hands and knees, tabletop position. As you exhale, just round through your spine. And you're just going to take 4 to 5 cats and cows here. And the first thing that we're just focusing on is really finding our breath. In order for us to remain integrity with ourselves, it helps us to know where we are. It helps us to check in, to see how things are moving. So as you're taking these next 2 to 3, you're just taking an assessment. How is the breath? How is the body? Nice work, guys. Over the next 3 breath cycles, feel free to explore any other movement that feels more luxurious, more integral to you. So it might be some rolls of the ribs. It might be a little bit of a twisting action. You might find that you just want to press back into child's pose and take a moment to breathe there, but you're just allowing yourself to connect with you. And if you've done something one direction, please go ahead and reverse directions. Awesome sauce. And then we'll find ourselves back into that child's pose position. So for this one, let's keep our shins pretty parallel, belly rest on thighs. Go ahead and inhale and bring your spine up to vertical, rolling from your tailbone all the way up. Once your spine is vertical, sweep the arms up and overhead. And then you'll exhale, hinge forward at your hips, reach your fingers forward, bring your chest to your thighs, your belly down to your thighs. There we go, fingers on the floor. Inhale, come forward into hands and knees. As you exhale, curl the toes under, lift the hips high, downward facing dog. Inhale, come back to hands and knees, little baby cow shape. Exhale, press back to that modified child's pose, chest to thighs, head between your arms. Inhale, roll up the spine, bringing it vertical, reaching the arms up and overhead. And then exhale, hinge at the hips, fingers reaching forward, chest coming forward, hands placing down. Great. Inhale, come forward, little baby cow shape. And then exhale, press back, downward facing dog. So we're going to take that sequence 2 to 3 more times. And all you're doing is really paying attention to how the breath moves. So you'll inhale and come into your baby cow shape. You'll exhale, press back to that modified child's pose. Inhale, sit on the shins, reach the arms out and up and overhead. And then exhale, hinge forward at the hips, reach out through the fingers, come back down to the floor. Nice job. Inhale, forward to hands and knees. And exhale, press back to downward facing dog. Great. So you'll do that one more time on your own. And this is going to be our vinyasa sequence for the day. So whenever we come back to down dog, this will be the sequence that you have the opportunity to move through. So that modified child's pose. As we move through, you might stand tall on your shins versus just sitting on the shins. Yep. Nice job, guys. And then the next time you make your way to downward facing dog, we'll go ahead and pause there for 3 breath cycles, waiting for everyone to catch up. And once we get there, I encourage you to bend slowly one knee and slowly the other. And our task for the day is really to stay connected with our breath. So we just did some breath-based movement, but can you stay with that ujjayi? Can you keep the breath very long, very even? Maybe it'll be about 5 to 6 counts in length. Great. Those of you that are in movement, go ahead and come to a still neutral spot. Take a big breath in, breathing into the armpits, into the upper ribs. Exhale from the belly. Bend your knees and start to walk towards your hands. Now, once you get there, let's take a moment to separate our feet hip distance apart. Inhale, slide your fingers up your shins, reach your ribs away from your pubic bone. And then exhale, chin to chest, scoop the belly, fold all the way in. We'll do that one more time. Inhale, reach your ribs away from your pelvis. Crown reaches away from the tail. Yep. And then exhale, scoop the belly and fold all the way in. Awesome. Inhale, bend your knees and slowly roll up the spine. Your arms sweep out and up and overhead. And then exhale, arms open out to the side and down towards your hips. Take a moment to soften the gaze and pay attention to how the feet are rooted into the floor. And then let's bring our hands behind us, low back, and interlace the fingers. So this is just our test run. You're going to see how it feels to micro bend the knees, to hug the elbows towards each other, to notice the shoulder blades pressing into the chest. And then inhale, heart and sternum lifts. As you exhale, start to bend the knees and hinge at the hips, coming forward, forward, fold. Chin draws in towards your sternum. Yep. Once you get down, notice what it feels like to keep the elbows slightly bent, slide the shoulder blades on the back, and then notice if you want to traction them up towards your ears or down towards your bum, and you're just paying attention to what this feels like. On your next in-breath, bring the hands back towards your pelvis, and then exhale, fold the hands down along the outer edges of the thighs. Great. From here, inhale, halfway lift, Ardha Uttanasana. And as you exhale, bend your knees, plant your palms, and step your right leg long and back. Now take a moment to pause here in this low lunge. Some of you might want to get one of your blankets and slide it under your back knee. And then you'll lower the back knee down and inhale, sweep both arms up and overhead. Now take a moment to press into that front foot, press into the back knee, hug both points together. Inhale, reach up through the arms even more. And as you exhale, arms open out and to the side. Interlace the hands behind you. Inhale, sternum and heart reach forward and up. Exhale, low belly draws in, feet hug in, knee hugs in. Nice job. Inhale, arms sweep out and up and overhead. And then exhale, arms come forward, low lunge. Straighten the back leg long, step back, downward facing dog. Inhale, come forward into cow shape pose. Hands and knees touch the mat. Exhale, press back to that modified child's pose. Now here you might choose to inhale, stand on your shins, circle, sweep the arms up and overhead as you round up through the spine. And then exhale, hinge at the hips, fingers reach forward, butt comes back to heels, chest, hands, and thighs touch at the same rate. Nice job, guys. Inhale, hands and knees. And then exhale, downward facing dog. 3 breaths. Just notice what you notice here. How calm, how smooth, how steady is your breath? How calm, how smooth, how steady is the body? How calm, how smooth, how steady is the mind? Take a big breath in. As you exhale, step your left leg forward. Awesome sauce. Take a big breath in here. Next exhale, step your right foot forward. Nice job. Inhale, halfway lift, Ardha Uttanasana. And exhale, fold all the way in. Inhale, root to rise, Urdhva Hastasana, maybe flat back or roll through the spine, your choice. And then exhale, hands through heart center. Okay, go ahead and lower your hands alongside your hips. Bring your hands back behind you, and I want you to just touch the fingertips in towards each other. So the fingertips will touch towards each other, but you're not going to interlace the hands. Slightly bend the elbows, draw the shoulder blades onto the back. Inhale, lift the heart. And then exhale, bend the knees, hinge at the hips, forward fold. So we're trying to strengthen our back shoulder blades. And so by not having the hands interlaced, you'll notice that this is a little bit more work. Now inhale, pull your ribs forward, reach your crown forward, halfway lift with hands still behind you. Nice job, guys. And then exhale, fold in, hands slide down the outer edges of the thighs. Nice work. Let's add on. Inhale, halfway lift, Ardha Uttanasana. And as you exhale, bend your knees, plant your palms. This time step your opposite leg back. So you're going to step your left leg long and back, low lunge. Pause here. Some of you may need to put a blanket down. You'll lower the back knee down. Inhale, sweep both arms up and overhead. Yep. And then as you exhale, open the arms out to the right and to the left. Bring the hands back behind you. This time, fingertips just touch. Draw the shoulder blades together. Reach the heart up. Yep. Inhale, circle, sweep arms up and overhead. Exhale, reach the fingertips forward. Come down to a low lunge. Tuck the back toes under, step back, downward facing dog. Inhale, come forward, hands and knees, baby cow shape. Exhale, press back to that modified child's pose. Inhale, stand on your shins, arms reach out and up and overhead. And exhale, hinge at the hips, fingers reach forward, chest, hands, thighs, all those touch at the same time. Nice job. Inhale, come forward, hands and knees. And then exhale, downward facing dog. 3 breaths and just notice what you notice. Pressing the hands, the tips of the fingers, the knuckle pads down, lifting the hips high. Take a big breath in. As you exhale, you will step the same foot forward. So you're going to step that same right foot forward. Nice job. Inhale, gaze forward, and then exhale, step the left foot to meet the right. Nice job. Inhale, halfway lift, Ardha Uttanasana, and exhale, fold all the way in. Inhale, bend the knees, reach the ribs away from the hips. As you exhale, sit your pelvis a little lower, and then inhale, sweep your arms out and up, bring your spine to vertical Utkatasana, chair pose, and just 3 breaths. See if you can spread wide through your feet, reach out through your fingers, lift up through the pinky finger, yep. Next in breath, stand up, reach up, look up. And then exhale, arms sweep out and to your sides. Awesome sauce. So we're going to add on. Inhale, bring the hands back behind you. Touch the fingertips towards each other. Hug the elbows towards each other. Slight bend of your knees. Inhale here and then exhale, hinge at your hips. Nice job. Inhale, pull your ribs away from your pelvis, lengthen the spine halfway, hug the elbows towards each other. Yep. And then exhale, release the hands, fold all the way in, forward fold. Great. Inhale, halfway lift, Ardha Uttanasana. As you exhale, bend your knees, plant your palms, step your left leg long and back. Awesome sauce. Root down into your left hand. Inhale, reach your ribs away from your hips. And then exhale, start to rotate towards the right. Now, cool. What we're going to do today is I want everyone to inhale and reach up through your top arm. So that's your right arm. Start to turn your right thumb to face your butt and bring your right hand back behind you to touch your left hip-ish. Now, everyone, notice that you can draw your elbow forward towards the right side of your room, but push down into that left hand and see if you can rotate the right rib cage and shoulder blade more towards the left. So we're rotating more from the shoulder, yep, versus the ribs. Nice job, guys. Okay, next in breath, gently unwind that right arm, reach it back up towards the sky. And then exhale, frame the front foot, step back, downward facing dog. Inhale, come forward, hands and knees. Exhale, press back, modified child's pose. Inhale, stand on your shins, arms sweep out and up and overhead. And then exhale, hinge at the hips, fingers come forward and down. Nice job. Inhale, forward to hands and knees. And then exhale, back to downward facing dog. Great. Take a breath here and just notice what you notice. Big breath in. You okay, Jenny? Exhale, step your left foot between your hands. Great. Take a moment to pause here. Push down into that right hand. Inhale, sweep that left arm up to the left and start to rotate towards the left. Now, just as we did before, you'll spin your left thumb behind you. You'll bring the back of your left hand to your low back-ish area. And then I want you to find more length through the spine. And instead of letting that left elbow wing back behind you, let it come forward towards the left. Yep, there you go, Barbara. Scoop the belly and then see if you can rotate through the rib cage, yep, there you go, through the shoulder. Yeah, nice job, guys. Next, inhale. Reach that arm back and up and overhead. And then exhale, frame the front foot, step to the top of your space. Nice job. Inhale, halfway lift, Ardha Uttanasana. And exhale, fold all the way in. Inhale, bend the knees, sit low, Utkatasana, chair pose. And you'll just take 3 breath cycles here. And you're noticing what you notice. How can you lengthen those ribs away from the hips, descend the pelvis to the floor? Nice work, guys. Next inhalation, stand up, reach up, look up. And then exhale, hands open out and towards the sides. Awesome sauce. Hands come back behind you. Press the fingertips in towards each other. See if you can hug those shoulder blades towards each other, elbows towards each other. Inhale here, heart lifts. Exhale, hinge at the hips, chin tucks towards sternum, coming in, forward fold. Nice job. Inhale, halfway lift, Ardha Uttanasana. And then exhale, release the hands slide down the butt, come all the way to the floor. Nice job. Inhale one more time, halfway lift. As you exhale, bend your knees, plant your palms, step your left leg long and back. Spin your left foot completely to the floor and come up for Virabhadrasana 2. Now, before we come up, I encourage you to make sure you've got a block somewhere in the front so it'll help you if you need it. Yep. And then make your way into your warrior 2 and see if you can take a longer stance than you ordinarily might want to. So the right foot might come forward a little bit more, the left leg might go back a little bit more. Now reach back through your back, hand your left hand, turn your thumb to the floor, bring the back of your hand towards your right hip. Inhale, sweep up through your right arm, and we're going to take a reverse warrior. Now again, with that back arm behind you, you want to make sure the elbow isn't winging back, but it's coming forward and you're rotating from the shoulder blade. Nice job, guys. Next, in breath, reach up, forward, and down to bring that right hand to the inside edge of your right foot. It might come to a block, it might come to the floor. Continue to hug that left elbow forward, press down into the right hand and see if you can rotate your right ribs forward, your left rib on top. Nice work, guys. Next, in breath, reach back through the left arm, sweep the left arm up and over your head like you're creating a giant circle of the sun. And then exhale, sweep the arm back alongside your hip. We've just got 3 more of these. So inhale, the arm sweeps along the horizon like you're tracing the pattern of the sun. And then exhale, it swings back. So big, giant half circle that's going up towards the ceiling versus along the horizon. There we go. And you're just noticing what this feels like as you breathe. And then the next time your left arm is up and overhead, take a moment to pause there. Continue to press down into your back foot. Hug the outer right hip back. Take in another breath. And then inhale, come back to warrior 2. Exhale, cartwheel the hands down to the floor, step back, downward facing dog. Your option to cycle through that sequence, or you just stay in down dog if that feels good to you, but you're just noticing what you notice. We're allowing ourselves to create moments of integrity with ourselves, filling our own marble jar moments by choosing courage over comfort, by staying connected to our breath, to our own boundaries, to our own limitations, as well as what brings us life and excitement and curiosity. All right, let's go ahead and do the other side. Take a big breath in. As you exhale, step your left foot forward between your hands. Spin the right foot completely to the floor, and then inhale, come up for warrior two. Pause. Find a long stance from the front leg to the back leg. Go ahead and reach back through your right arm, turn the thumb to the floor, and bring the back of the right hand to your left hip. Then inhale, sweep up through that left arm, finding a side bend for your reverse warrior. And as you're doing this, you're making sure that you're rotating from the shoulder on the right shoulder blade, the elbows not winging back. Nice job, guys. Next in-breath, reach up through the top hand, forward and out, and bring that left hand to the inside edge of your left foot to the block or to the floor. And then notice if you can push down through your legs, reach your ribs away from your pelvis, draw the left ribs under the right ribs up. Yep. And then inhale, sweep out through that right arm, making a giant half circle, drawing the right arm over your ear. And then exhale, fanning the arm back towards your hip. And you've just got 3 more of those. And you're seeing if you can move very deliberately, very slowly, paying attention to how the breath is moving. Nice job, guys. The next time your right arm is up and overhead, just take a moment to pause and breathe there. See if you can find more length through the spine, the right ribs on top, left ribs under. Nice work, guys. Inhale, come back to Virabhadrasana 2. And then exhale, cartwheel the hands to the floor. Pause, step to the top of your space. Great. Inhale, halfway lift, Ardha Uttanasana. And exhale, fold in. Inhale, bend the knees, sit low, Utkatasana, chair pose. And 3 breaths. What can you soften? I think that's one of the things I've been trying to ask myself. Living in integrity doesn't mean you have to become a police and police yourself and police everybody. It does, though, mean that some things we do need to soften, some things we do need to yield. Some things we need to stand firmly in, and others we can let go. Next, in-breath, stand up, reach up, look up. And then exhale, open the arms out and to the side. So slight little program change. Draw all the weight to your right leg, float your left leg up, and you might keep the hands just dangling at the side. You might bring them to heart center. That left leg is super flexed. You're drawing your left knee up towards your face. Yep. And then as you're ready, lower that left foot to the floor, transfer all the weight into the left leg, and then start to lift the right leg up. And maybe hands dangle, maybe hands are at heart center. You're choosing what allows you to find a sense of integrity, wholeness, cohesion. And you're just breathing, right knee draws up, right foot flexed. Nice work, guys. Very gently lower that right knee down, lower the right foot down. Awesome sauce. Let's go ahead and add on. Inhale, circle, sweep the arms. Exhale, hinge at the hips, reaching forward through the fingers, bending the knees as much as you need to. Nice job. From there, inhale, halfway lift, Ardha Uttanasana. And then exhale, bend your knees, plant your palms. Go ahead and step, this time, your left leg back. Awesome. Spin your left foot to the floor and come back up for Virabhadrasana 2, Warrior 2. Awesome. Once you find yourself in Warrior 2, go ahead and straighten that front leg long. Pull the kneecaps up on both legs, press down into both feet. Reach back through your back hand, turn your left thumb to the floor and bring your left hand to your right low hip, so back behind you. Then inhale, sweep the right arm up and overhead and take a reverse triangle here. And you're seeing if you can find length from that right hand all the way down through your right hip, down to the right foot. Nice work. Now, just as we did before, inhale, reach up, and then forward and down to come into Utthita Trikonasana. Right fingertips coming inside right foot onto block Maybe they come to the shin, or maybe they come to the floor. Now, before we go anywhere, find length in the spine. Draw the right ribs under the left ribs up, and then see if you can rotate through the rib cage to stack that left shoulder on top. From here, reach back through the left arm, sweep the arm up and over your head, just like we did before, and you'll just take 3 of those little half circles here. Now, as you take these half circles, just going up and or forward and back, you might find that you just want to go up to vertical instead of going all the way back to your hip, but you're just paying attention to how the shoulder blade is working. You're paying attention to how the breath is working. You're paying attention to how the ribs are working. Nice work, guys. Okay. The next time your left arm is up and overhead, take a moment to pause and triangle pose. Press down into your back foot a lot. Slight micro bend in your front knee. Draw your outer right hip back, your heart forward, and your right ribs more towards the left. Nice job. Next in-breath, come back up, warrior 2. And then exhale, cartwheel the hands down to the floor, step yourself back, downward facing dog. Option to cycle through that little vinyasa for today or not, your choice. Nice work, guys. Awesome. All right. Slight program change. Take a big breath in. Exhale, step your feet to your hands. Nice work. From there, inhale, halfway lift, Ardha Uttanasana. And exhale, fold in. Inhale here. As you exhale, step your right leg long and back. Spin the right foot completely to the floor, and then come back up for Virabhadrasana 2. Now, once you're up, go ahead and straighten that front leg long. Reach back through your right hand, turn the thumb down and swim that hand behind you to touch your left hip. Now inhale, reach forward and up through your left hand and take a reverse triangle pose. And we're just keeping the legs active. We're breathing into that side body. Great. Next inhalation, reach up through the left arm, forward and down, and come into Utthita Trikonasana with that hand slightly bound behind you. Yep. Okay. Now from here, let's all push down into our bottom hand. See if you can find length on your underside, and then wrap the rib cage, the left rib cage forward, the right rib cage up, and don't let that right elbow swim back, but let it still come forward. There you go. And you rotate from the ribs. Nice job. Next in-breath, reach back through the right arm and sweep it up and overhead along the horizon. Well, it's not really the horizon. And then you'll exhale and swim it back. You just got 3 of those. And we want to make sure that if we're pressing into our left shin is pushing back into our left hand. There we go. And you're just seeing what it feels like to breathe here. How long can you make the breath as you swim that arm up and over your head, or sweep it rather? There we go. And then the next time you have your right arm up and overhead, let's find a 180-degree angle from the bottom arm. Reach your left ribs forward and then wrap them under. See if you can stack your right ribs on top. Nice job. Next in-breath, come up to Virabhadrasana 2. And then exhale, cartwheel the hands down towards the floor. Go ahead and step back, downward facing dog. You might choose to cycle through that vinyasa or not. It's totally up to you. Poor Robin. Oh, dogs are right in the middle of that mat. All right. So from down dog, we're going to go ahead and come forward into plank pose, Balangasana. Now I want you to push down through your hands a lot, lift up through your inner armpits, lift up through those inner thighs. Push down into your left hand, spin your heels to the left, and slowly reach your right arm up towards the right. And I want you to lift your underneath butt up a lot. Yep. So that you can keep lifting through that armpit. And then gently, you'll bring that right hand back down to the floor. Come back into that plank pose and then roll your heels over to the right. Push into that right hand. Slowly reach the left arm up. Lift your under butt. So your left butt cheek up, or rather right butt cheek up. And then very slowly, you'll come back down into plank, come back to downward facing dog. Great. Okay. We're going to see how this goes. Inhale, sweep your right leg up and back. Exhale, step your right foot halfway forward. So not as forward as you normally would. Great. Shift your weight forward, lift your back leg parallel to the floor. Flex through that back foot a lot. Walk your right hand slightly over to the right and forward. Start to stack your left hip on top of the right. Push down into your right hand and start to wrap your right ribs towards the left ribs on top, and maybe reach that left arm up towards the sky for half moon. Good job, buddy people. As you're ready, you'll slowly lower that left hand back to the floor, square your hips to the floor, bend your front knee, step your left foot back, step back to downward facing dog. Nice job. Take a moment to pause, take a moment to breathe. We're going to try that all on the other side. Inhale, lift your left leg up and back. Exhale, step it halfway forward. Once your foot's on the mat, shift your weight forward, lift your right leg parallel to the floor. Flex through that back foot a lot. Step your left hand towards the left and slightly forward, and then start to stack your right hip on top of the left before you go anywhere. And then slowly peel the right arm up. Slowly stacking right shoulder on top of left. Nice job. And finding your half moon. Nice work, guys. Very gently lower the right hand back down to the floor. Bend the front knee, step back, downward facing dog. Lower both knees and take a moment to rest in Balasana, child's pose. 3 breaths. 3 breaths. Notice what you notice. How did that go? Okay, so you're going to choose what's best for you. I will guide some of us to go into that again, and others of us might just hang out in child pose, might hang out in down dog. You choose to do what's best for you, okay? So when we're ready, those of you that want to do this again will inhale and come forward, hands and knees. And then you'll exhale and press back, downward facing dog. Okay, so we'll try the other side first this time. So inhale, sweep your left leg up and back. Exhale, step the foot halfway forward. Start to pour the weight into your left leg, shift your weight forward, lift your right leg parallel to the floor. Foot is super active. And stack your right hip on top of the left. Slowly start to peel the right hand away from the floor. Yep. And continue to lift through that back inner thigh. Nice job, guys. As you're ready, you'll slowly lower the right hand back to the floor. You'll square your hips to the floor. You'll bend your front knee, reach the back foot back, step back, downward facing dog. Nice work, guys. And then we'll try that on the other side. So inhale, sweep your right leg up and back. Exhale, step the foot halfway forward. Shift your weight forward. Lift the back leg parallel to the floor. Walk your right hand slightly forward and to the right, and then start to stack your left hip on top of the right. back foot stays active, and then you'll slowly start to reach your left shoulder on top of the right shoulder. The left arm reaches up. Nice job, guys. As you're ready, lower the left hand, square the hips, bend the front knee, step back, downward facing dog. Now from down dog, this one's going to be super weird. I want you to bend your knees a lot and start to crawl your hands back to your feet and find yourself in a deep primitive squat. So you'll bend your knees and draw your butt as close to your heels as possible. If you need to widen your feet a little bit, by all means do that, but we want to try to keep our feet and our legs parallel. So feet and legs parallel. All right. And then letting your butt descend as close as you can to the floor. This is not a comfortable seat for most of us because we don't spend a lot of time in it, but it is pretty good for our joints. We're just going to sit here for a little bit. And some of you will stay right here. You'll be like, yep, Jessica, this is exactly where I'm going to stay. Some of you will turn to face the side of your mat. And this is just up for some of you if you want to do it. We're going to take side crow. If you don't want to do it, by all means, you don't have to do anything. But we're going to start with bringing our right hand behind us. You're going to lift up through your left arm and then start to rotate towards the right. And you're just planting the hand there. And some of you will stay right here. You'll notice that your knees want to splay and see if you can keep drawing your left knee forward, right knee back. Some of you will stay right there. Some of you will plant that left hand, shift onto the balls of your feet. Some of you will plant the right hand, and then you'll start to shift your weight forward, bend your elbows, hugging that shoulder blade onto the back, hugging the legs towards each other, maybe hovering the feet off the floor a bit. Yep, nice job, guys. And then when you're ready, you'll slowly come out of that. Jenny, hug the right elbow in towards you a little bit, and you've got it. There you go. And then go ahead and try that on the other side if you'd like. Nice, Barbara. So on this side, your left hand would come back behind you. Your right arm would come up. You take a twist first, and then maybe plant that right elbow outside of the left knee and just hang out there, drawing your back knee, your right knee forward. And then you might start to draw weight in the hands and shift your weight forward. Erica, come out of that, please. Step your left hand more towards the left a little bit. Yep. And then when you come back into that, hug your left elbow back towards your left hip, just like we did with all of that stuff with that fake bind. Awesome. And then once you've done that enough or played with it enough, we'll go ahead and sit down in Baddha Konasana. Love that, Jenny. So your butt's going to come to the floor. Nice, Barbara. Soles of your feet are going to come to the floor, and you're just going to take a moment to sit. All right. Heart reaches forward. Shoulder blades hug back. Great. From Baddha Konasana, go ahead and extend your right leg out to the right. Draw your left foot closer to your pubic bone, closer to your perineum. And we're going to bring our right hand in front of us, our left hand behind us. Now, just as we usually do, make sure your right foot is engaged so the toes are pulling back towards your knees. Inhale, push down through both of your hands to lift up through your spine. And as you exhale, empty the belly on your left side to start to rotate towards your left knee. From here, let's go ahead and inhale, sweep up through your back arm, your left arm. And you'll exhale and take a little happy side bend over towards your right leg. And you're reaching up through your top hand, you're reaching out through your left hip, you're finding the ribs moving away from your hips. So especially the right ribs are moving away from the right hip, and then your right ribs are wrapping under, left ribs are wrapping forward, or rather on top and back. Okay, nice job, guys. Next in-breath, go ahead and reach up through that left arm and come out of the shape. Square your chest over your right leg. Start to tuck your chin towards your chest and roll forward until you feel some fun stuff either happening in your upper back or your hamstring. Now, depending upon how this works for you, sometimes if you just tuck your chin to your chest and you stay more vertical, you feel this crazy sensation behind the upper shoulder blades just by letting your head be like a bowling ball and super heavy. it finds this weight that happens in the upper back. And then sometimes you can walk forward and then that moves the sensation more to the backs of your legs. So you choose which one you want to explore for today. Awesome. And then very gently, you'll come out of this shape, coming back towards a more vertical shape. Take a moment to pause and just notice what you notice between the sides. And then as we're ready, we'll come back to Baddha Konasana before we switch sides. Great. Gently extend the left leg out to the left. Draw the right foot closer to the perineum, making sure the top of the foot is on the floor. Flex through your left foot. Bring your left hand in front of you, your right hand behind you. Push down through the fingertips to lift up through the spine. Scoop the belly on the right side to rotate your rib cage more towards that right knee. And then inhale, sweep up through your back arm, your right arm. And then exhale, you'll take a side bend towards that left leg. But as you're going into the left leg, I want you to think of really pulling your left ribs away from your left hip. There you go, Erica. So it stays super long. Yeah. And then you can reach out through the right hand and down through the right hip. And then you find this fun, crazy stretch happening between the ribs and the hips. Nice work, guys. As you're ready, you'll inhale, sweep up through that top arm, come back to vertical. Go ahead and take a moment to then try to square your chest over your left leg. And then you can tuck the chin to the chest and start to roll in a little bit and see what it feels like to let your head be super heavy and stretch the fascia on the upper back. Or you might walk the hands all the way down and come more for a hamstring stretch, but you're just noticing what it feels like to let the head be heavy. Left leg still super, or rather left foot still super active, left kneecap active. Nice work, guys. Okay. Very gently, you'll inhale and come back up through vertical. Take a moment to pause and just notice what you notice. And then gently, we're going to start to cover our bodies and make our way onto our backs. So once you've covered your body, it's just clothing or socks. Well, socks are clothing. You'll make your way onto your backs. We have a few more things before Shavasana. Just want to make sure that awkward clothing, you put them on before you lay down. And once you find yourself on your back, gently just bend the knees and plant the soles of the feet on the floor. Some of you will stay right here and just wrap your arms around your torso or around your chest and walk your feet a little wider and stay here for constructive rest. Some of you will choose that after being in constructive rest for a breath or two, you'd rather take a bridge pose, and that is an option as well. So some of you will hang out in constructive rest. Some of you will go to bridge instead. Those of us that are going to bridge, we've spent all this time talking about the shoulder blades coming onto the back. So as you press down through your feet and you press down through your upper arms and you press down through your skull, notice that you can invite the shoulder blades onto the back body a little bit more. And then see if you can press down into the points of contact with the floor to lift the hips and continue to roll your inner thighs down towards the mat. You've got about 2 to 3 more breath cycles here, pressing into the whole sole of your foot. Those in constructive rest, see if you can soften across the tops of your hip flexors. At the end of your next exhalation, those in set to Bandha Sarvangasana, aka bridge pose, gently release your hands, untuck the shoulders, bring the pelvis back down to the floor. Okay. Everyone will then walk their feet so they're hip distance apart. Cross your right ankle over the top of your left thigh. Actively flex through that right foot and draw the whole configuration of your legs closer to your chest. Now, some of you will interlace behind the back of that left thigh. Some of you will grab the front of your left shin. I want all of you to notice that you can press your right elbow towards your right inner thigh. And at the same time, I want your right inner thigh to draw away from your right elbow until you find some fun stuff happening in your outer right hip. So right elbow's pushing towards inner right thigh, but right inner thigh is like, no, I don't want to touch you. And so it's moving away from that right elbow. Nice work. You got 2 more breath cycles here. At the end of your second exhalation, you'll gently release the clasps. You'll draw the left foot to the floor. You'll draw the right foot to the floor. You'll take a moment to pause. And then you'll try it on the other side as you're ready. So left leg crosses over, left foot stays active. Thread your hands through the back of the leg, maybe grabbing back of leg or front of shin. And then again, that left elbow could reach towards the inner left thigh, but the left inner thigh is drawing away from that left elbow. You're seeing if you can keep your left sit bone pretty rooted as you open and stretch the outer left hip in this capacity. And you're just pausing and you're breathing. And then at the end of your next exhalation, you'll gently release your hands. You'll draw the right foot to the floor. You'll draw the left foot to the floor, and you'll take a moment to pause. And last few things. Draw both knees into your chest. Bring your hands to the inside edges of your thighs. Grab the outside edges of your feet. Press the soles of your feet in towards each other first. See if you can keep your sit bones really rooted as you press your pinky toes in towards each other. And your knees, again, draw away from your face. They draw away. And then you might stay here, or you might start to open the knees down towards the floor, the feet up towards the sky for happy baby. And we want to keep our pelvis really rooted. And some of you will be still as a cucumber here. Some of you will maybe straighten one leg or both legs. Some of you might do some gentle rocking, but you're just allowing yourself to notice. What are those things in life that keep you in a state of integrity or a state of an alignment, would help you live as the best version of you possible? I think there's so many things that help each and every one of us. And it's interesting that Dr. Brene Brown talks about that being one of the foundations of trust, that the individuals who can help us be our best self, not always when it's fast, fun, or easy, but when it's the right thing to do, that helps us choose that courage over comfort. Those are the individuals that are deserving of our trust. And so how do we become that person for ourselves? So as you're ready, I'd like you to gently notice if there are any other shapes or shape that might be curious for you to explore, and then set yourself up to explore those shapes. And when you feel complete, you will make your way to Shavasana, but you've got time. So maybe some supine twists might feel good. Some of you might want legs up the wall. Some of you might be straight up ready to go to Shavasana, but we're allowing ourselves to start to add little marbles into our own jars. We've all practiced enough to know what things help us establish a greater sense of wholeness, of fullness within our bodies, within our beings. And we're just giving ourselves the opportunity to add that marble to the jar. You've got about 2 more minutes doing whatever you need to do before I'll start guiding you through our last little thing in Shavasana. So By all means, please make sure you're content. And then those of you that are already in your final resting pose, please make sure you are supported in the way that feels really good to you. Making sure the body is wrapped if it's cold in your room. Great. And those that are still in movement, you take your time. Those that are settled into Shavasana, let's start by taking the opportunity to first really settle the body. So I want you to lightly push into the back of your head, lift your chest away from the floor and slide your shoulder blades down and away from each other. And then you might do the same thing by pushing down into your heels, lifting your butt, sliding your butt away from you, and then lowering it down. And then noticing if you need to adjust the legs a little bit so it feels that both feel even. And then we'll start by just taking a big audible exhale from the mouth. And then I want you to inhale a deep breath, holding the breath at the top until you feel some pressure build. And you might suck in a little bit more air, hold the breath a little bit longer. And then when you've had enough of that, you'll slowly exhale all the breath from your mouth. We'll do that about 2 more times. So you'll take a big breath in, maybe suck in a little bit more air, holding the breath at the top. And just noticing the sense of fullness that comes from that. And then when you're ready, you'll slowly exhale out all the breath. And then as you're ready, you'll take the third and final one. Big, deep breath in. Suck in a little bit more air. Feel the pressure build and notice how you can soften amongst that. And slow exhale out. And as you exhale, continue to allow the body to just fall into the support of the floor. One of the things that I'm finding interesting about the 7 pillars that she includes in the Anatomy of Trust is it's really like the support that you're receiving from the floor. The more that certain people show up consistently, and the more that we're allowing ourselves to show up consistently for ourselves, it gives us the opportunity to find a sense of spaciousness where we can let go, where we can soften. So as you're here for these next few moments, I encourage you to notice where that support is right now in this moment in your body, and how receiving that support, receiving that consistency allows you to soften even more, allows the bones to become even more rooted, allows the muscles to become even softer, allows the breath to become even more full. I'll leave you with you for a little bit, and I'll let you know when it's time to come out. Return your awareness to your breath. And just take a moment to check in and notice what you notice. If there's any part of you that longs to linger in this shape, by all means, please stay here. As you're ready, you'll start to invite small movement back into your physical form. And those that are in movement, you'll take a few moments to pause on your right side when you're ready before we come to sit. From there, you'll gently press yourself to a tall, comfortable seat. And I encourage you to elevate your bum on a block or a blanket. And then as you're vertical, allow yourself to sit well. So if that means you need to remove flesh from underneath your buttocks, if that means you need to move out the shoulders a little bit, go ahead and do that. And then you'll take your left palm and you'll tuck your index finger into the base of your thumb, and the other three fingers are together, and the palm can either face up or down on your left thigh. And then the right hand will come towards your face. The thumb comes to the ring or the outside edge of the nostril. The pinky finger and the ring finger come to the outside edge of the left nostril. And you'll gently exhale all the breath from your mouth. As you inhale, close your right nostril and inhale through your left. Top of your inhalation, you'll close your left, exhale out slowly through the right. When you need to, you'll draw the breath back in through the right nostril, very slowly, very consciously, very deliberately. Top of your inhalation, you'll close the right nostril and exhale out through the left. It counts as one round of Nadi Shodhana. So go ahead and continue a few more rounds on your own. And as you do, you find a sense of awareness, a sense of wholeness, a sense of integrity with the breath by just staying with its rhythm, by not trying to make the breath any longer than the breath easily wants to be, by not making it any shorter than it has the potential and the capacity to be in this moment with a sense of ease. And you're noticing how through all of it, you can continue to sit tall through the spine, the ribs are reaching away from the hips. Yep. And the next time the breath exits through your left nostril, you'll simply lower your right hand. And you'll just take a few moments to breathe and notice what you notice once you get there. I find it fun that the time that we spend just being quiet with ourselves, listening to, responding to our breath, is us adding a marble to our jar. It is that moment of us establishing a greater sense of trust, of connection with ourselves. And once we can establish a greater sense of trust and connection with ourselves, that sense of integrity becomes really strong within us. And then it allows us to establish a greater sense of trust and connection with others. Very gently, you'll bring your hands to heart center, Anjali Mudra. And we'll press the hands into each other, representing the actions that we take for ourselves and the actions that we take towards and for others, finding a mirroring, a balance, and integration between the two. Gently exhale all the breath from your mouth. Take a big inhalation through your nose. Audible breath out through the mouth. Inhale for Om. Join if you'd like. Om. To that light and to that breath and to that sound, we bow. Namaste.